Do you ever have a video game that everybody adores and talks a lot about and gets crazy critical reviews, and it's one that you just can't get into? To me, that's Outer Wilds. It's a game that I have tried to play, I can't tell you how many times, and every single time I play it, I just never get very far in it. I get frustrated and I quit. If you feel that way, I want you to hit that subscribe button. And if you don't feel that way, I want you to leave a comment below and tell me why. It's a good game because I just can't get into it. So this is going to serve as kind of a two-part video. Number one, to announce that yes, Outer Wilds is in fact coming out with a brand new piece of DLC later on in the year. It's going to be called The Echoes of the Eye. It's going to release on September 29th, and it's going to include some new areas to explore. Apparently the sun is going to be covered by this black shroud, and you're going to have to go figure out what's going on. It looks interesting. It looks like it's more of the same, and that's not to say it's a bad thing. The trailer doesn't show very much. It shows the sun being covered up and maybe a couple small puzzles. There's not much there to see. I know I'm in the minority, by the way, of people liking this game. Clearly, you can look at the Steam store page. It's got very positive reviews. People love it. People are saying wonderful things about it. It's an open-ended exploration game. It's supposed to be great. The problem is, I feel like those nuggets of feedback that you get, the puzzles that you solve, take too long to actually decipher, and typically you're going to run out of time before you get into that, which is going to require you to do a lot of replay of the same area over and over and over until you kind of get to the end of it. And I know that sounds counterintuitive because I like roguelike games, which that's exactly what you're doing. You're playing the same levels over and over, getting a little farther each time. But I feel like in those games, the action is more dependent on your inputs. It's more dependent on you manipulating your character, picking the right power-ups, being smart about the way you advance. In a game like Outer Wilds, where you are up against the timer, every 22 minutes a time loop is going to reset all of your progress. There's a lot of times you're going to just be naturally wanting to take your time and explore and look at every little thing and figure out what is supposed to be going on, and you're going to run out of time. And you're going to end up doing the same things over and over, and that's what frustrates me with the game. Now, I wish the time loop thing, I don't know. I don't feel like it needs to exist. I feel like if they took that constraint away, maybe the game would be more fun. I have an issue with the fact that it's hard to tell what is actually worth exploring in the game versus what is just a cosmetic item. And it's a beautiful world, don't get me wrong. It's a fully rendered 3D world where you can go up, down, left, right. You can get in your ship. You got zero gravity. You can fly around. You can check out different areas. You can scan alien technologies, learn about the world and the environment and the inhabitants of the world before you got into it, which is cool. I like that. The problem is there are too many things to look at that don't matter, and you're going to waste time. And over a 22-minute run, you're going to spend at least half of that time walking over to something that you think may be something, and it turns out to be nothing more than like a light, or it turns out to be a decoration that has no bearing on the mystery or no bearing on the story, which really does frustrate me. I got a little bit of gameplay here that I snagged from YouTube. Full credit goes to AJ Brune. I'm going to post a link to this entire playthrough in the description below, so I recommend you check it out. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of what you would expect to play. Now, a lot of the times you are going to be walking around in these zero gravity environments or low gravity. You're going to have to manage your oxygen, you're going to have to manage your fuel, you're going to have to be resourceful in kind of how you navigate the caves, using boost properly, jumping over long gaps. You don't have any weapons, so there's no combat or anything like that. You don't have to deal with enemies, you don't have to deal with health or power-ups or anything like that. You're just going to be exploring ruins and exploring areas and trying to kind of figure out where you should logically go next. And the game does the best it can of providing you with a map, of kind of like a timeline of like, here's all the places you've been, here's all the mysteries of these places, and it'll naturally lead you, supposedly, to get to that next area to learn even more. The problem really with that, though, is because there are just so many things to do and see in each area, you just don't really know if you're going the right way or not. One of the very early puzzles that you're going to have to come across, and the one that really kind of broke my back on this latest playthrough that made me stop again, and I think probably forever this time, was there's this forge you have to get to. You have to navigate down into a planet, and you have to activate a series of switches in order to unlock this forge. But you can't just walk inside. You have to go to another part of the planet and beam into where the forge is now located. The game doesn't really tell you that, though. You have to spend a lot of time figuring that on your own, and You think when you finally have made it to where the forge is, you've got this great, okay, this is a great checkpoint. I can now kind of continue and work my way through this area. Unfortunately, a lot of that progress is lost and reset, and you have to do it again. Yes, you will do it faster the second, third, fourth, fifth time. You'll go straight to that area because now you know this is where I'm supposed to be. But the problem, I think, with that is you just kind of lose some of that momentum, and that fun exploration of like what's around the next corner is lost. I don't necessarily need instant gratification in every game that I play. I don't need to just instantly be rewarded with prizes and treasures and all that sort of thing. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that in a game like this that is very complex, that has multiple worlds and multiple areas to explore and multiple things to do on each world, there needs to be a better checkpoint system in place or some sort of progress in place that kind of gives you an indication you're doing the right thing. I can't tell you the number of times I navigated around the surface of a planet trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. And then just when I figured out what I was supposed to do after exploring all these ancillary things, which, by the way, look like they should be important but aren't, just when I got through all that and I go and navigate into an area of where I'm supposed to be, time runs out and I have to start over. And then I have to circle the planet again and try to remember where did I land and where was the way to get in here. And there's a secret cave that's buried behind the south side of this crater or whatever it happens to be. And it just becomes very draining. Now, that doesn't mean to say that if you like this game, you're a bad person. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I bought it on the Epic Games Store. I played it. I enjoyed it on my ultra-wide monitor. I just wanted to get lost in the world. It just never happened for me multiple times. So the fact that they're doing a DLC tells me that the ship has sailed for me. I have no desire to go back and try the first one, let alone the DLC. I don't even know if I want to just go and play the game again or like just watch the ending till at least understand it. I probably wouldn't, honestly, but I'm just to the point that I'm like, it's just really not for me. So I think this is the first game in a long time that I'm really throwing the towel in, of just one that's like, it's just not grabbing me. I just don't see myself getting into this again. But the good news is with the DLC coming out, it's gaining a lot of attention again. Obviously, it made me want to do a video about it, kind of giving my thoughts on it, even though it's been out for quite a while. It is coming over to Nintendo Switch. It's going to come over to next generation consoles. It's going to be readily accessible for everybody to play. It'll probably have some bundle where you can get the original game plus the DLC all in one pack. I applaud developers for making games like this. I like that open-ended, open world type of games exist. I just feel like this particular one, for me, was just a little too abstract. There was just a little too much to try to figure out that just didn't make sense. And I was hoping for maybe a little bit more hand-holding and definitely a little more time to lose myself in the world. But like I said, I want to hear from you guys below, so leave some comments. Let me know your thoughts on this game. Do I need to give it a 35th chance, or should I throw in the towel on this one? That's what I want to hear from you guys. Thanks again for watching this video. Congratulations on making it to the end. Have a great weekend, and that's it for me. Until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.